Yo, let's talk about data structures. I see a lot of you asking questions like, should I learn data structures? Are data structures important? Is that something that I have to spend time on? And let me start by saying, it is important. You gotta learn all the things. Just gonna wait for this plane to go by. So I was totally going to do a video outside walking around so that, I'd have some cool B-roll and everything, but it turns out that it's raining, so... So once I've said that you absolutely have to do data structures and you got to learn them, you got to learn all the things, I'm going to backtrack and I'm going to say, no, you don't have to learn data structures. They're a complete and utter waste of time. The fact of the matter is that most modern languages provide really good implementations of data structures, and you'd be a fool to try to do something better than them. The languages that don't provide built-in data structures have libraries that are well used by thousands and thousands of developers all over the world who are doing the kinds of things that you are doing. And they need the same structures that you need. But they're going to those libraries or they're using those built-ins. So don't waste your time trying to implement yet another linked list. Fact of the matter is that just like cryptography, you're going to do it wrong. You're going to get something wrong in your hashing algorithm, stuff's going to clump up in buckets, your hash maps are going to slow down, and your whole program is going to come grinding to a halt. And the reality is your company in the business of delivering hash maps, or are they in the business of delivering value to customers? Customers who don't give a rat's ass how a hash map is implemented. When you think about it, people who do construction don't cut their own 2x4s. It's not like people trek out into the woods nowadays, cut down trees, mill them, break them down, and then build you a house. No. Everybody buys materials that are as close to the finished product as possible. It's the best way to optimize the time that we spend building. We spend our time on that part of the building process that we alone own, that part of the building process where only we know what's going into it. The person making 2x4s doesn't know what you're going to do with them. It's your job to take those 2x4s and turn them into something that's going to make your clients happy and that's going to solve their problems. Another issue is that if you're not using built-in data structures or those that come in libraries that the rest of your community uses, you're not going to get the advantage of the automatic upgrades that come whenever people find bugs in those data structures and take the time to fix them. The more exposure those data structures have, the more people are looking at them, the more people are using them, and the more people are finding bugs in them. So don't waste your time on some in-house, homegrown solution that there's only 2 or 3 other engineers looking at every day. It's far better to bet on a solution that's been tested out in hundreds of companies all over the world. And those bug fixes are pouring in, day by day. So what can you do instead of writing your own linked lists and arrays and hash maps? Well, the best thing for you to do is to understand theoretically how these data structures work, and then to really get a deep understanding of how your language of choice implements them. Each different language is going to have a completely different idiomatic way of implementing these data structures. For example, the Python 2 implementation of a dictionary returns keys in the order they were inserted. Now it says specifically in the documentation that this is an implementation detail, but I've seen dozens and dozens of code bases where developers have relied on the fact that those keys are going to come back in a certain order. Interestingly, Go mixes keys when you insert values into a map. So when you iterate over a map, you're never guaranteed that those keys are going to come back in the same order. It can be frustrating at first, but once you realize that a dependency on that specific implementation of how iteration works over the keys is something that's going to perhaps cause you a problem in the future, you start to get an inkling of what I'm talking about when I say that you're going to get automatic updates and upgrades. The second thing you can do is learn about big O notation. Learn how these data structures use big O notation to express their efficiency, and learn which data structures are best to use in what cases. It's also extremely valuable to understand how the native data structures in your language can be pressed into service and used as alternative data structures. For example, in JavaScript, arrays can be used as stacks and queues very simply because of the push and pop and append methods that JavaScript provides. Other languages are not quite as friendly when it comes to adapting their data structures to the uses that you might have. But it's always far better for you to spend time understanding the built-in or community-provided data structures rather than trying to implement your own. So hit me up in the comments below or on Twitter to let me know if there's a weird or quirky way that data structures behave in your language. Let me know if there's a particular community-contributed data structure that's your favorite. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel for more content, and hit the bell icon to be notified when I post my next video. See ya.